We are live.
We are live. It's the Spinnin Backfist MMA Show for August 26th. It is Friday, August 26th. Usually we do a Tuesday, Thursday show. We had some important company meetings at Barstool yesterday, so we couldn't squeeze in this. But I felt like it didn't really matter much because it's not like we had these crazy fights going on this weekend. It's kind of more of a chill show. We'll talk about some news, some fight announcements, and then we'll do a knockouts draft. And I hesitate to call it like a best knockouts draft, greatest knockouts of all time.
I think it's like your interpretation.
Because
I think there could be a lot of different ways that you look at how great a knockout. We talk about Leon, like kind of the timing with knockout, or like the moment matters. Like I think all those things can come into play for different reasons, different ways. So I think it's one of those drafts where no matter what. So I guess it's gonna be 5, or unless you want to do a women's one as well. So it's 6. There's 6 rounds. So if there's 18 knockouts, there's so many amazing knockouts, and obviously there's going to be a million left off. But I think there's going to be 18 phenomenal knockouts regardless.
We didn't change the signs.
With some audio, okay.
Just fixing the audio quick right now, people. We apologize.
We're fixing the audio.
Should have checked that. My bad.
How's the audio now?
Should be Gucci now, we believe.
I think we fixed it.
Now we're good.
Just tweeting out the link here.
Letting some people get in the chat. Bingo. There we go. Logan DeWolf doesn't miss a fucking show.
That's
The
my
GOAT.
guy.
Thank you, Logan. All right. Let's talk about some news before we get into the draft. Let me go to the Spinnin Backfist group chat because we just had a ton of fight announcements that we were talking about in there. Jamie Malarkey.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Magomed Mustafayev.
That's a banger.
October 22nd. We've got
That's the
Jack Shore's return.
Yeah, Jack Shore, Kyler Phillips. That's a great fight.
They're giving Jack Shore
November
just fucking
19th. Killers.
But I think he's good enough where, like, that's an unranked killer.
Yeah.
But I mean, but I think he's deserving of that. I mean, it's one loss to Ricky Simone's really good. I don't think that's like a terror. Like, I mean, you got to.
I'm sure he wants to get back in there.
Yeah, I don't think you just throw him like a can after just because he lost like one good fighter.
Kevin Holland, Daniel Rodriguez. That's another good one on September 10th.
That's soon too.
Yeah, very soon.
Literally in 2 weeks. That card, they needed another big main card fight. That's a really good fight.
Yeah.
To me, that's a fight like the winner of that should be like ranked or like right there for sure.
Agreed. Our guy Cody Brundage. He's getting his return to the octagon on November 19th against Rodolfo Vieira.
That's an interesting matchup.
Yeah. Rodolfo didn't look great his last
Brazilian.
Brundage is just a winner, dude. I love that guy. He just everyone.
I like Brundage a lot.
He's a dog every fight. Everyone doubts him that he's not that skilled, blah, blah, blah. And then he just makes it happen.
And then Dalcha versus Edmund Shabazian.
Shabazian needed it. This is like Shabazian. Like,
I can't believe they're giving him Dalcha almost at this. Like, I get it. He needs a rebound fight.
He needs one bad.
It is.
He's lost, 3 in a row? So he lost to Brunson. He lost to Hermanson.
Yeah.
And Imavov.
Yeah.
And he hasn't fought since that Imavov. That was at the MSG card last year. So he hasn't fought in like 10 months.
This is going to be November or December 12th.
Yeah, so it'll be, by the time he fights, it'll be over a year layoff.
During the COVID fights, he was like one of the best prospects out there.
He headlined the card, right?
I mean, even those fights with, I'm pretty sure Brunson and Hermanson were the same. That he like won the first round and then just got dominated the next 2 rounds.
It's frustrating to watch as a fan because obviously you watch the first round, you're like, oh shit, he's got something there, and then it goes away.
He's had the takedown defense and stuff. He kind of was a little bit of a fish on the ground, which also not even to call him a fish. Like Brunson and Hermanson are 2 like monsters with the ground and pound and that kind of thing in the wrestling. But it was just tough to see him like do so well and then just get thoroughly dominated like right after in just really like brutal fashion.
Carlos Olberg versus Nikolai Namagareno.
Ev sent that, and right away when he saw it, I saw it in the group chat. I walked over to Ev's desk. I was like, "That's a fight."
How do you say this last name? I definitely just butchered it.
It's tough to say.
Negu Moreno.
It's tough to say without you can mess it up and really sound bad.
Yeah, that one's tough. That one's really tough. That one's on MSG. They're doing the city kickboxing thing again on that's Adesanya card.
Great point by Patrick. Wonderboy said no to the shop cut.
I mean, it's it's a very interesting situation because from Wonder Boy's perspective, I'm like, no fucking shit, you said no to
Yeah.
Shavkat. But I also get the people that are like, what is he ranked number 6 right now?
Yes.
You can't have that ranking and say no. Like at some point, that ranking has to go away. Like,
No, I mean, I'm sure like Dana in the UFC doesn't love it.
if you want to be a title contender, you have to fight title contenders.
It's a double-edged sword of someone like him because, like, I think he gets slaughtered by Shavkat.
He does.
He has not looked good. I mean, Bilal held him down for 3 rounds. Gilbert did pretty much the same thing.
Yep.
And I think Shavkat's definitely capable of doing that and probably would finish it. It could even, I think it's maybe even more finishing potential with ground and pound or maybe a sub. I mean, has Wonderboy even ever been? I don't think so.
I think that was one of the like calling points to betting him against Burns, and then also, I think a lot of people were on Bilal by decision in that fight because they were like, "Hey, Bilal doesn't submit people. Wonderboy's never been submitted.
Yeah,
he's just gonna get." But that was, if I recall correctly, Wonderboy was favored in that fight, or was it -110 each side?
I think he was. Was he favored in both?
He may have been favored
might
in
have been.
both. Burns was disrespected coming off the Usman loss, and then Wonderboy still was thought as one of the top guys in the division, which he still is now. But Burns and Bilal showed much better than him. Not much, but they are better than him.
Yeah, because I think his last win was he beat Jeff Neal
Yes.
in like a pretty competitive fight, but I thought he definitely won.
And Jeff Neal just got who?
He just knocked out Vicente Luque.
No, doesn't Jeff have? Oh no, we were talking about.
He wants Colby.
That's a good
Because
fight.
he's saying no one else. There's no one else really in that
I
top
saw that.
7 or 8 that's doesn't have a fight besides the 2 of them.
Did you see the Colby, Gilbert Burns, Dana thing?
that Gilbert wants Colby,
No, Gilbert.
They're making Gilbert Jorge. It sounds like.
Yeah, but Gilbert said that Colby is really messed up. He broke his jaw again and had neck nerve damage from the Jorge incident. And then Dana came out literally like the next day because I think it was Gilbert said it on Monday. Then Tuesday they had Dana White's Contender Series and Dana was there and he was like, "No, that's not true."
Yeah, he's I think is pretty much his paraphrasing his quote was that like Colby wants to fight. We're looking at making fights for him right now. Like
I did see that quote from that he said, "Yeah, we're looking at
like Colby's
fights
like ready
for Colby."
to fight. He wants to fight, ready to
I
fight.
saw that.
Gilbert,
they're working on it.
Gilbert painted this picture like Colby was really messed up, but I don't even know how you would
messed
get
up.
that.
He's been making his videos still. He was in the video. It looked like he was at a bar watching the last fight.
Yeah,
Saturday,
Kamaru
so
got knocked out. Yeah,
he looked all right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna sneeze.
Wow.
All right, got it out of my system.
There was one Muslim Salikov and Andre Fiallo.
Yes.
That got
That's
announced
November
last
9th.
night.
I think that's November 19th, I believe.
Then I was
Salikov was just got knocked out at Long Island card by the Leech.
Yep.
Did
I'm
you
looking down
And
just the
Fiallo
list
obviously
of
just got
news
knocked
this
out by
week.
Jake Matthews.
Francisco Figueiredo removed from the roster.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
Did you guys see that video of that girl saying her celebrity crush
Yeah, Francis
is Francis
Ngannou.
Ngannou?
Yeah.
They were like
That's
Ryan
funny.
Reynolds.
Yeah.
The guy just he was like, damn.
Honestly, not a ton of news other than like fight
Magic's
announcements this
reporting
week.
that it's Gaethje versus Fiziev at UFC 282, but who knows if his sources are correct. He usually
I mean
has.
that fight makes sense. I mean, a lot of the other. I mean, I'm sure that's even a fight that Gaethje wouldn't like not want. It's a guy that's going to strike with you.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's obviously a super rising contender. Just had the big knockout of RDA. Like I think that's like Gaethje's a guy that wants to fight for the belt again. I think that's a fight that puts you right back there.
Yep.
That's a fight that you take that fight, you win it, and then now you're getting only top like 3 or 4 after that.
Yeah, agreed. But if you get beat, who does he call out after this one?
Fiziev?
Yeah, he's always got the strangest call outs
If he
in the
beats
world.
Gaethje, if that fight happened in December, I would say the right call for him would be wanting like the winner of like Chandler Poirier.
Yeah. It's crazy that he could get
The
up
winner
there that
of
quickly, but yeah.
Gaethje.
If
he beats Gaethje, yeah.
Well, I think honestly either of them.
I was
either of
even
them
thinking in
wins.
terms of he calls out Hezbollah and shit and Vince Vaughn.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like for real. I was
yeah.
like, he wants to fight for a belt.
Who-
Honestly, both of them, either like if Gaethje or Fiziev win, I would say the
What do
winner
you
should
think-
want the winner of that fight.
You would line that at?
Wow. I bet I'm gonna guess it's almost like a pick 'em.
Yeah, that's an interesting fight.
I mean, Gaethje was just a decent sized dog, not crazy dog, but he was a dog to Oliveira.
Gaethje's one of those
I
guys.
can even see Fiziev being like a slight favorite.
Me too. But Gaethje's one of those guys that we're kind of forgetting about, but like he's only been fighting killers. So
Oh yeah.
like, he lost to Habib, he lost to Oliveira.
Yeah.
But what are you supposed to do there?
Nick in the chat says, do you think Khamzat Diaz winner fights the winner of Usman Edwards trilogy? I think Khamzat wins the fight, and then
I'd say
so
yes.
I wouldn't be shocked if.
But also, if Diaz won that fight, I don't think he's re-signing with the UFC regardless. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess I have to agree. He seems
I think
very,
if Diaz wins the fight, he's like, "Fuck you! I beat your golden boy, and I'm out."
Yeah, that is such a Diaz. You're so right. Yeah, he probably won.
Khamzat, I could see
Although-
getting Colby. If Khamzat dominates Diaz, I could see Colby Khamzat early 2023, or maybe even the end
But
of.
the only thing is that I could see Dana already said point blank that if Khamzat wins, that he's next in line.
Yep.
So
He said that on record on a press conference.
So that would be next in line after the Usman Edwards rematch.
Yeah.
Essentially,
All right,
unless Kamaru needs more time, maybe they do it beforehand.
that's the only thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
Because I could see that.
Yeah, you got.
I mean, you got
knocked out
flatlined.
bad.
Because that's where people are kind of like, I've seen people talk about. I mean, the guys usually don't get like knocked out cold and then fight in like 2 months.
No.
usually the
I'm
convention.
honestly surprised how fast like Tony's coming back.
Yeah,
I know,
And
that
that
worries
was
me.
what was that one? May? Was that May card?
I think so.
So he's gonna fight what, May and then September after like a brutal knockout. I guess
Like, ugh.
that's only like
I
I
don't
thought
like
that
it.
was even really
I
short.
like that he's going up in weight in terms of just like
I don't.
I like it in terms
I
of
think
he's
the
not cutting the weight, so maybe he won't get knocked out as bad.
I think the Leech is gonna like just the Leech is
Leach
I
is
think the
probably
Leech
gonna
is
knock him
good.
out.
That's what I'm saying. I think the Leech is gonna beat the shit out of him.
need a bet. This is from J Money and the boys. Need a bet on the sports book over under fight time on the entire card. Does he mean like
Oh, he's saying like
how long it takes?
Like no, like
combine all the fights.
yes, combine all the fights.
ah,
Like,
that's you know what?
It's not bad.
It's almost like
It'd be a little hard to like. It'd be hard to keep track of, right?
for sure. It definitely would be tough. I mean,
Would you have to do it in rounds or actual
no,
time?
no, literally
Time.
time. You have to do time.
Yeah.
because UFC like they officially like Buffer says that then they officially put it down in the record books
Yep.
like at 2 minutes and 36 seconds of the second round. Da, 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 da. MH
That
the
price
tickets for MSG
they're
are
gonna
insane.
they're gonna go
They
down.
went on
though.
sale
Yeah.
today, right?
They'll go down. They went down last time.
Yeah, it's not face
I
value.
think getting them closer to the fight is actually better.
All right, you want to get into the draft?
I'm trying to think. Is there anything
Is
else?
there anything else we want to get into?
I don't
first?
think anything like super pressing.
Want me to pull up a wheel to do draft order?
Yeah, fuck it. Pull up the wheel. This is an interesting draft.
Any questions in the chat? Just drop them. MSG card 500. Yeah, I saw. It's just crazy. Do you think Khamzat Diaz, Holland versus? Oh, was that announced? Was D-Rod versus Holland announced?
Yeah, we talked about it.
mentioned
Okay, sorry.
It's on the September card. That's going to be on the main
Word.
card.
All right, I got the wheel going. First pick, and we're gonna do 5 rounds, and then also a female round. Ev,
I think I got first pick last time. I don't even think I want first pick, but I'll take it, I guess.
This is an interesting, specifically like who you pick at first.
I know what I'm
and
thinking
then the
already.
second pick,
It's Robbie.
me.
The middle's a nice spot here, I think.
I like the middle.
The middle is what I wanted, but I'm good at one. I know what I want.
All right, should we get right into it? We're
Yeah.
doing knockouts, our favorite knockouts. Let me pull up my
Draft,
board.
snake draft, best knockouts. However you want to portray best knockouts of all time. I think there's many different ways you can portray it, but
Yeah,
to each
history,
their own.
straight shadow realm, however you want to do it. At the end, we're going to have our draft board up, and you're going to look at it, and you're going to go, I like those knockouts better than the other 2 knockouts.
boom.
All right, go ahead, Ev.
All right. I mean, the first one to me, I think is easy. I think it's the most spectacular knockout of all time. There was a ton of shit talk leading up to it. It literally created a megastar. It's the Masvidal flying knee.
Yeah.
It's just the most sensational, like unpredictable. It's the fastest knockout of all time. I mean, the super necessary, him running around the cage, flopping like a fish, him doing the WWE, like
The
tap out, like the three. That was just unbelievable. Like it's one of those where you remember where you were
Yeah.
when you saw that. I remember I was at the Jersey Shore. Unbelievable knockout. I'm a huge Masvidal fan. Like it literally, he was fighter of the year after that.
Yep.
Launched a pay-per-view star. Like he's become one of the biggest stars in the sport from it. And it shows like how just big of a moment that was, where he was someone someone might have called him like a high-end journeyman before that, to becoming like a legit top 3-4 star in the sport.
Definitely.
And one of the bigger stars in sports, period.
I was there for that. That was the craziest knockout I've ever seen in real life.
Just stunning. Like it's just absolutely stunning. I think it gets played so much now, you almost get numb to it. And I think that's what I'm going through, my whole list. I was trying to make sure to don't get numb by a knockout because it's so spectacular. It's been played so much because it's still just unbelievable. So yeah, Masvidal flying the Askren, and Askren talked so much shit leading up to that fight.
Oh yeah.
Saying that Masvidal was literally not going to touch him,
Yeah.
not going to do anything to him. He was going to just ragdoll him and run through him. And then he woke up in a hospital 3 hours later.
Yeah, that was tough. I'm going to continue the trend of flash knockouts in the draft in round 1. And I'm going to go Conor McGregor knocks out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds.
Great pick.
Another shot that I would compare very much to the Jorge Masvidal one, in that we saw the video of Masvidal rehearsing it the night before. We saw the video of McGregor in the locker room practicing that short left hook. 13 seconds. Another one that McGregor was a superstar by that point, but it definitely elevated him to a different level where he got a fucking Floyd Mayweather fight after that and whatnot. So I'm going to go that one. I feel good about it. I have a lot of picks still left in the quiver that I feel good about. I'll throw it over to Jack.
This is tough, but I think and maybe it's recency bias, but I'm taking Leon over Usman. It's not Aldo McGregor. It's not Askren, Masvidal, but truly, I mean, we talked about it last episode. Is this one of the best sports moments ever? Mm-hmm. And I don't want to be too much on recency bias, but it was also such a clean knockout. I was watching knockouts yesterday and thinking I was seeing some of the true flat lines, and Usman his eyes were still open, but his body shut off, and then him walking that little strut he did right after he got him. The lead up to it, obviously every knockout kind of has a little the feint and then coming through it to it. But Leon's my pick, and I think we'll remember that one forever as one of the best.
We keep saying recency bias because obviously it did happen very recently within the past week, but the more time that goes past since the knockout, the crazier it is in my mind, the more impressive it is in my mind. It is aging in the 6 days since very well.
100%.
And Usman, I think when I was making my board, I was thinking about there's spectacular knockouts, and we'll get to a few. And then there's really monumental ones. The first two, obviously they're great.
Yeah.
But they're also incredibly monumental.
Yeah.
Leon's was incredibly monumental. I mean, it was Usman was on a 5-fight title streak.
15-fight winning streak.
15 pound for pound number one.
He was a minute away from tying Anderson Silva's record of most consecutive
headshot
UFC wins.
Dead.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm up again.
And back to you. Back to back.
All right, let me check I think I'm going to go. No, I'll do this one's the most shocking. Pure power. You see it, and it's ridiculous. Overeem Ngannou. Yeah. What Ngannou did to Overeem, is this only a UFC? No. The first 4 are UFC, but it's MMA as a whole. But what Ngannou did there, just true. And I think there's an angle from that's kind of a little bit further up. From the ground looking up. It's just, at the end of the day, we'll have amazing spinning elbow knockouts, spinning back fist knockouts, spinning kick knockouts, but just pure, unadulterated power, just right to the jaw.
It was his left.
left.
Yeah.
Just
And
stunning
Nagano
power.
and Overeem was
His
just
rock'em sock'em robots.
Shocking power.
Boom. His head came off the rest
his
of his
head.
body.
Yeah, the fact
No,
his head didn't
Nick
come.
Burnett said it perfectly. Literally looked like a head dispenser.
Yeah.
His
There's
head
that
literally, like,
picture of
clicked
his head,
back.
like all the way up. That's one of
So-
the craziest things. I can't believe he survived it. And he was like in good spirits afterwards too.
Overeem's
He's in
a
the
killer,
cage
man.
with Dana, like laughing, like, what happens if I can get clipped? Like, it's crazy.
Overeem's someone that I've always respected probably too much, but he's a great guy and all-time MMA legend.
No doubt. One of the best ever in that division, a pioneer, especially. I'm gonna go with maybe. I'm going out on a limb. Maybe my favorite knockout of all time in the second round, and it's tough because it's crazy to say this. I was actually rooting for the guy who got knocked out in this fight. It was Yair Rodriguez and the
Yeah.
Korean Zombie. And the whole fight, I'm a big Zombie fan. I was rooting for Zombie. I was watching with Trent. It was the UFC 25th anniversary card in Denver. They had the special canvas and everything. It was a great fight, the main event. Really good fight. Zombie was taking over, though, and it was a good fight for him. So we're fired up about it. And then in the 5th round, as the clock is expiring, Yair hits that back elbow to knock Zombie out, flatline him. Still probably the most shocking, surprising thing in a fight I've seen, because even the Leon head kick is like a head kick. It's like the perfectly hit head kick. This was the most unorthodox elbow I've ever seen, ducking and throwing it up. I got to go with Yair Rodriguez knocking the Zombie out. I mean, also, you knock a zombie out.
Yeah, literally the
just
zombie.
A little bit sweeter.
Yeah, all right, I have 2 in a row here. I have one that I've been holding on to that I was praying no one was going to take. That I think, to me, this is a like a no-brainer to get picked. The Dan Henderson Bisping.
Yeah, the H-bomb.
Just maybe the most. I would say the follow-up shot, probably the most violent follow-up shot of maybe all time in the history of MMA. Just launched his entire body into like stiff, like just Bisping. It's literally like almost makes you cringe. Thinking about it, like Bisping on the ground, and then the second shot, you literally see his toes fucking like curl up.
Yeah,
I thought he was dead.
Yeah,
and also it was UFC 100.
Yep,
I believe it was a title eliminator fight. It also was Bisping was undefeated at the time, so took his 0 with like a violent knockout,
as violent as it gets, and then he made himself like. He made like a Jordan logo basically, and Henderson would wear polos with like him like that, like stitched on it. The H-bomb, unbelievable that Bisping survived the second shot. To be honest,
it's like disturbing. Like it was body. Like I said, it went limp, and then the second one made him go literally stiff. Yeah. I can picture his toes. You literally see his toes like just curl up.
The
like
original
this.
Super Necessary.
100%. I think without question the most. I'm struggling to think of a more violent like follow-up shot than that. Like it was literally not even just like a punch, like a clean punch. Literally, he jumped. Like his entire body weight went behind that punch. Just
he dropped the bomb.
Pure violence.
Shout out Ben Davis in the chat said Matt Brown elbowing Diego Sanchez into the earth is solid. Yeah, that was crazy.
Well, I feel we're just making we're doing like the Chicago rule.
Oh, like, don't mention them. All right, yeah.
Like that may or may not have been on my draft board. Like now we're just throwing picks in.
Sorry.
I appreciate the chat. Keep throwing them in the chat.
I like Ben.
So
give him a shout out.
This next one for me, there's a lot of good ones that I've been. That was one I had in mind, but I think I'm going to go a different route. I have a sneaky one that I just really, really, really like that I think is insane. I'm going to stick to my guns. I don't know how well this is going to play on the graphic. But the Kevin Lee Gillespie knockout is fucking insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Gillespie took like 18 months to come
like
back
that.
From that.
That was so. It also that was in the MSG card. That was the BMF title card. If I'm not mistaken,
it was.
Gillespie was undefeated. I believe also undefeated at the time. New York kid, and just gets fucking stonewalled by one of the nastier kicks I've ever seen. Literally put him in the cage, like sitting upright because he was close to the cage. Literally just like a zombie.
Yeah.
Like
there's a great shot of the commentators and Megan O'Leary sitting there for that because it was right up against where the commentators sat, and they were all like they fell back.
I mean, it was
like a 3D movie.
I feel like that's one of the more underrated knockouts of the last like 5-10 years or so. but it's one of my favorites because in the way he sets it up to where he comes and just throws the high left kick just right into it. So yeah, I'll go with that one next. I think it's an unbelievable knockout.
I'm gonna go with one of the knockouts that actually made me a fan of MMA, and it made me a fan of Rampage Jackson. And it was when I first got into the UFC, watching Brock Lesnar, kind of just like watching heavyweights, especially that's like the initial appeal, these monsters fighting each other. And I see a video on YouTube called Real Life WWE Moves in MMA.
Okay. That's
That's a great
What
game.
year is that probably?
And I'm picking the year I'm watching it, probably like 2007.
Just awesome. Like great YouTube era.
Great YouTube era. And I find this video of Rampage Jackson hitting a power bomb on a guy named Ricardo Arona, I think his name was, in Pride.
Power bomb.
Where he gets like triangled and Rampage just picks him up and slams him down as hard as anyone's ever been slammed into the crust of the earth, knocking him out. And I was like, this is the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. That was a real life power bomb.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Rampage Jackson's famous Pride power bomb knockout because it made me a fan.
Unbelievable.
All right. This one is the overall just skill behind it's amazing, but the absolute the guy that got knocked out looked dead after it. It's Edson Barboza against Terrier.
Yeah.
So
almost got knocked out.
Edson hits him with the spinning heel or spinning. I think
spinning heel kick.
Kick, yeah. And Terry hits the floor, and the ref was like holding him, and I think he was ready for him to get like limp, but he was so stiff, and the ref was looking around like, "Oh my God, we need somebody in here now." Truly amazing. It was out of nowhere too. It was like I think in the third round, and it was just like, and Edson,
especially for that era of MMA too, like that, like ushered in the spinning shit.
Yes,
I want to say they said that was the first spinning heel kick knockout of all time.
At the
time,
yeah.
I think it was the first in UFC history, I believe.
Yeah,
and that was in 2012.
Yeah, which is crazy too, like how fast the sport moves. Like we see that all the time now. Not all the time, but
there's definitely been a few now.
There's spinning kicks in every single card where people are throwing shit like that.
And that was on UFC 142, Aldel Mendez, Belfort, Anthony Johnson. Next up, this is one that's like, I don't know, like, I feel like he could have definitely ran with it a little bit more. It didn't really propel him to fame, but Joaquin Buckley's like Superman, like
it's a good one.
To Impa Kansagane.
Kanye wrote a rap about it.
Yes, I remember. I think it was on a college football Saturday, and I definitely was on Impa, and it was on another screen when like whoever was on Oklahoma State, Bama, and then I'm like, Impa's coming out. Here comes Impa, Joaquin, and Joaquin Buckley. I wasn't even mad I lost the bet. It was one of the greatest, just pure. Just caught him, and he was out. I don't even know. Like, I mean, I'm sure Joaquin knew he did.
Back to kinda stumbled, like it was like Mortal Kombat or something.
But yeah, that's one of. I actually almost think of Joaquin Buckley more as the guy that Hamzat did not know. Remember that clip of Hamzat, Darren Till?
Who is that guy?
And then Darren Till and Joaquin Buckley again. So Darren Till's like, "Why are you talking to me, dude?" And then Hamzat's like, "Who's that guy?"
Yeah.
But yes, Joaquin
Darren
Buckley.
Till also, we mention he wants to fight this year?
All right, so the information I was told right away that it was like he may be done, but I guess
yesterday it came out he wants to fight this year.
He's a guy that's one of my favorite all-time MMA
Get him on
fighters.
That Leon Edwards card.
Yes,
when you do that in London.
And
that might not be this year, but it won't be this year.
The only thing is, if they want to do it at Wembley, it has to be not 10 degrees outside.
Yeah. They probably won't do it at Wembley, to be honest. Dana hates the idea of outdoor venues. I think he hates.
Remember, we asked him about it.
Yeah,
I think I asked him about Liverpool,
Anfield,
and he was like, "No, I don't want to do it."
Yeah,
and I'm sure he said that a billion times.
Shout out KB the Great. Shout out Goshen.
I'm fucking swallowing salami right now. All right, Ben Davis.
Back to you. Back to back picks.
No, I think I just did.
Or did you just do both of yours?
No, I just did Buckley and Edson.
That's right. So I am going to do maybe the knockout I've watched the most back. It's Chris Weidman knocking out Anderson Silva.
Interesting.
I
was wondering if that was going to get picked or not.
You know, I don't know what it was growing up. I look back and I'm like, it's weird that I didn't like Anderson Silva, but he was my least favorite fighter in the world.
Wow.
I hated the cockiness. I hated him clowning his opponents mid-fight, which is funny because now those are things that kind of like attract me to certain fighters. Conor McGregor, Sean O'Malley, like I like that stuff. But at the time, I couldn't stand it. And I wanted him to get knocked out in every fight. And every fight, I would go over my friend's house. We would bet quarters on fights, literally quarters. And where I hope I'm allowed to say that on pen. And every time I would lose because I would bet against Anderson Silva.
He just never lost.
This one, I went crazy. I was so excited. I liked Weidman too going into this, the All-American guy, Long Island guy, East Coast guy. So it's not like, when you look at it, it's not like, oh, the greatest knockout of all time. It's a weird knockout because he's like doing the weird clowning thing and he just clips him on the chin and he kind of just falls back. But man, I watched it 1,000 times.
I'm having a real, I guess I'm going to have both my last two for the male part of the section. This is tough because I'm going to say this. I have like a few front kick knockouts that I'm deciphering between. And I think I'm going to go with a different one because I'm going to use the other guy, I guess the second pick. So I know people are going to hate me for taking this one, even though it's the most recent. I do think it was truly the most violent, even it wasn't the most technical. I'm taking the Chandler front kick knockout. Like I know there's other ones that like people will think are better and more skilled, but I just think this one was truly like the most vicious, violent. It literally wasn't even like a Silva front kick. Like it literally was like he punted his face. Like literally punted his face.
And that picture,
unbelievable
picture of his face where he just turned him.
There's been a lot of
an NFT.
There's been a lot of really, like I said, there's been a lot of really good front kick KOs. I won't name them for the sake of the last few, but there's been a lot of them there's been a few by the same guy. There's been a few by some other guys, but I just think when it comes to like pure raw violence, and that Tony, I know he'd been on a losing streak. He had never been shut off like that ever.
No.
Ever to just get like absolutely like flatlined like that, where I was legitimately worried for his safety, legitimately sitting in my apartment, like where Chandler's doing backflips over his dead body. And then he's sitting on the cage looking for his son in tears. And then Rogan, like 2 minutes after the knockout, is literally like, Tony still hasn't moved. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. Then I was like not even celebrating by like betting when I was like, Jesus Christ, like this guy literally might not be okay. Thank God he is okay. But I'm going with that one because I'm going to use Anderson Silva for my next pick. And I'm going to take the Forrest Griffin knockout. Yeah. Because there's been more like violent knockouts and more like just crazier knockouts. But I think what that knockout displayed was just how unbelievably dominant he was at that time. And he might have him at that time, like he was toying with Forrest Griffin, literally toying with him to the point that the knockout, he's running in, he just threw like a straight jab and just basically put him to sleep. Yeah. Like that was stunning. Like just the level of dominance. I don't know if we've ever seen matched besides like obviously like a John Jones has been incredibly dominant and like Khabib obviously been dominant. Like Kamaru had been dominant until this point. Like we had a lot of guys be like have some dominant runs, but I just think his was so special because just the way he was toying, literally toying with world-class fighters. And I think that's more why I'm taking this knockout than anything. I just think it was such a like this guy is so much better than everybody else. Like he's a world. Like I remember it's kind of I remember Rogan talking about Anderson like when he fought his first fight against Lieben. Yep. And then he was like, this guy's just a different kind of striker. Yep. And then he just went on to prove that, just knocking out literally everybody. And just like you said before, like just messing around with him while he did it. I just thought the Forrest Griffin knockout was just like so special.
Looking like an unbeatable record. That's 16 win streak.
Yeah. I mean, just displaying his level of dominance.
When you see that Usman can't do it, it's like, fuck. Yeah. It's going to take someone a lot.
Yeah. So I'm going.
Well, what's a Volk at?
Oh, I don't know what Volk is at.
He actually is never. Volk's up there too for sure. What in terms of title defenses?
Yeah.
So he's got Holloway the second time, Ortega,
Holloway the third time.
Holloway the third time, and Korean Zombie. So 4, and then also he won the belt. So it's like winning the belt and then 4 more
And
after that.
the record 16.
Yeah.
That's
No,
insane.
no. It's 16 UFC wins. No. His UFC wins, he's probably like 12,
Yes.
11, 12.
So the record
Title defenses is John Jones.
Yeah.
And then GSP, I think, is like John Jones is like over like double digits
And
title defenses, I think, which is
crazy.
preposterous.
and we haven't seen him fight in so long.
That's why I think he's unequivocally the GOAT. Like, that's why even when you talk about like Khabib,
And the
like
people
Khabib's
he beat
a
too at
legend.
the time, like
Khabib defended his belt 4 times.
yeah.
No,
And not
it-
against
When
like,
you break down Habib as a whole, there's a lot of flaws. Not to take away from his greatness because it was absolute domination, but not to get away from the KO draft.
I was just looking at my list. I think I'm gonna go with a throwback one because I had the Pride one, but I don't really have a throwback UFC one. I'm gonna go the rematch. Chuck Liddell knocks out Randy Couture. I think it's UFC 52, something like that, or maybe the first fight was at UFC 52. Just a historic one, and another person like Rampage Jackson. Chuck Liddell was one of the people that attracted me to the sport in the first place. The Iceman, the Mohawk, the cameos on random television shows, the shorts and everything like that. So this is like probably the most famous of his career, I would say, for good reason. It's him reclaiming the UFC championship. So I'll go with that to round out my list. A little throwback.
So I had one. I was just gonna go Anderson Silva against Belfort, front kick.
Yeah.
But I think I'm just gonna go with the best knockout in UFC history, Brendan Schaub against Crow Crop.
The
head
kick.
The head kick. He took his finish
Yeah.
and he used it on him.
Yeah.
It felt WWE-esque, and I think for the
Crazy.
graphics' sake, people are gonna be like, "Wait, what the fuck?"
No, people will like that.
Okay,
I
so
think people will
Brendan
like
Schaub
that.
over Crow Crop, unbelievable. And then, do I get the first women's? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah.
all right, just to be a homer, taking Molly.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can make a case for the others, but I'm gonna take Molly spinning elbow. Carolina.
Flat.
It's truly
She might still be out.
propelled Molly to what we know her as today, as this.
The Rock's tweeting about her, making videos about her. Yeah.
And obviously, Molly is always had that personality, a great person, funny. But without that, I mean, who knows?
Totally.
And
That
she's
was the
with Barstool
star-making
because of
moment,
it.
yeah.
It's amazing. And I'm more than happy to take it.
I feel like that leaves a very obvious pick for me. I had like 2 picks in mind, Molly or this one. It's Holly Holm knocking out Ronda Rousey. How
Yeah.
could you not go with that? November 14th. I remember where I was when I watched that. Woke my mom up. Shout out to my mom.
Yep.
Just outrageous. I almost went to Bill Burr at the Garden that night. I said, you know what? As much as I'd love to be there, I think I should watch this UFC card. I think something wild's going to happen. Greatest decision I could have made, because that's one of those moments I'll never forget.
And Ronda at the time was just
I mean, they thought she was unbeatable.
I loved
I
Ronda
was-
too. I was such a Ronda
Oh,
stan. I was
okay.
like, this bitch would beat anybody in the world.
There-
Put him in front of Mayweather. Yeah.
I was just gonna say that was like the point in time when they were
Yeah.
saying she beat up
Yeah.
Mayweather.
yep.
Yeah,
The
maybe not.
and as such a casual MMA fan at the time, I thought of Rousey as like, no, nobody can beat her.
Oh yeah.
And when someone would be like, "Oh, she can fight any
I
like a
thought,
male in
I
her
thought
division,"
she could fight
I
some,
believed
like
it.
125
Thought
males.
she
Yeah.
could be ranked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
she'd be ranked. Yeah,
I think Rogan said stuff like that. Rogan was like, she could fight some dudes in the UFC. And like, looking back, no, she couldn't.
no, that would have been
Like,
scary.
I don't even think she could have fought like the lowest of the 125.
No.
I don't think she could fight like regional scene
No,
guys.
no.
It's just, I mean, that's just the difference. It's a difference in like just like everything.
Yeah, no.
She's
I-
amazing, but she.
Love Ronda, no disrespect.
Yeah, for sure. I think the last one's almost. There's like 2 in mind, but I think there's a clear one here that's left on the board. It's Nunez knocking out
Yeah.
Cyborg. I mean, just
Unbelievable.
insane knockout. I don't remember what the betting line is, but I remember people thinking it was going to be like this great fight. And Amanda Nunes came out and just absolutely ran through her like a train on the tracks.
Now that
Like just blasted her.
Drafted was the other one you were thinking, the Shevchenko eye.
100%.
Yeah.
That's probably the most spectacular female knockout.
Interesting.
And
Rose.
Holmes is special too. Also, the Andrade slamming Rose, I thought as well. Also,
crazy.
Roses on Waylay was phenomenal.
Rose
as well.
on Waylay is
Rose on Joanna at MSG initially.
Yeah, that one was great too.
Crazy.
The Shevchenko eye was what I had in mind just because I thought it was the most like wow.
And she was like out. Yeah.
She was sleep,
Yeah.
like just like dead, and you just don't see that much with women.
Yeah.
Like the only few other ones are kind of like Jack Back's one is like that.
Yep.
Like Molly's is a legit flatline unconscious KO.
Well, Nunez is of home is actually pretty good.
Yeah. I was there for that one.
But yeah, just Nunez Cyborg. That was like a passing of the guard.
Yeah.
That was like a true like. I mean, that was basically when she was anointed. She is the GOAT female fighter of all time.
Yep.
Well, like no question. I mean, just do what she did.
Crazy fight, dude. I mean, it was a firefight.
Like it was 51 seconds, I think it was, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Well lasted.
And the whole fight.
And Cyborg got clipped so many times and stayed in there.
Yeah.
Until the last one, they
took
just like,
some crazy shots. Yeah.
I mean, the one where she's coming in and she catches her on the chin and she's like falls into her. Like I was like, oh my! When you see like the way her whole head just like snaps sideways, I was like, Jesus Christ!
That's maybe the most entertaining like 51 seconds in MMA. You can just watch that over and over and over again.
It was unbelievable. They just said we're just going to throw hands so one of us falls.
That was great.
And Nunez's power is just for females. I really believe is unmatched right now.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, the Andrade slam. I'm just
makes
looking...
the Pena fight all the more impressive
for sure.
He's taking some crazy.
No,
shots
Pena's got a big time chin. Super respect to her.
So one on Prime going to be fun. Yeah, it's on right now. Actually, I think you could watch it on Prime. I think it's on second.
I think is it even on? Is the prelims on YouTube? Maybe
prelims may be on YouTube. We were just talking. There was a knockout like really early on. It's crazy how long the fights are all day.
We were talking about that, yeah.
But the Demetrius Johnson fight, we had DJ in here. He looked a lot smaller than his opponent at faceoffs. Now he was smaller than him in the last fight, but I had kind of forgotten that. Ev said he just rewatched the last fight.
He's so much bigger. Yeah. In the cage, it literally looks like a flyweight and like a featherweight. Like he looks.
What are the odds on it?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think we had it in our book, but I would have to imagine DJ's a big dog. He is so much smaller.
I'll watch that fight though. I'm interested in that.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely watch it tonight. But he is just.
I mean, he looks good.
He's supposed to fight.
Anybody in the chat?
Brandon, he said it's around 10 p.m. That makes sense.
10 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
Cool.
Damn, 10 p.m. and they're already fighting.
Yeah,
it's all day. They just the cards like all day long. It's insane.
I was like, I woke up and like immediately.
Well, they do Muay Thai. They do like all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
grappling.
I mean that's cool. I was like, oh, probably it'll be like midday here. No, 10 p.m. I'll watch it for sure.
10 p.m.
Well, they're just doing 12-hour cards.
12-hour cards.
I wouldn't miss like a Demetrius Johnson fight like that. Like I watched the mixed rules fight when he did that. His armbar, where the German suplex throw up armbar is one of my favorite finishes in the history.
Unreal. We'll definitely have to do like a submission one of these days.
That would be awesome. Yeah. There's a lot of great submissions.
A lot of really good ones.
All right, that was it. We got no parlay.
We probably should just list them at the end.
Oh
yeah.
And obviously we'll have a graphic out, but just for the listeners. So I guess mine in order was the Masvidal over Askren. I did Dan Henderson over Michael Bisping. I did. What was my third one?
I was gonna say I'm trying to remember mine now
because I was erasing them as they went on, so I could remember.
Was it Kevin Lee over?
Oh yes, it was Kevin.
Yep.
Kevin Lee over Gregor Gillespie. Then it was, I did Anderson over Forrest Griffin, and Michael Chandler over Tony Ferguson. And then Nunez over Cyborg. Yeah. That was my 6.
So mine were Conor McGregor over Jose Aldo, Yair Rodriguez, Korean Zombie, Quentin Rampage Jackson, Crazy Powerbomb and Pride. Chris Weidman knocks out Anderson Silva. Chuck Liddell knocks out Randy Couture. And then Holly Holm knocks out Ronda Rousey.
All right. Mine was, I'm blanking on who I picked second. First was Leon. Mm-hmm. Second was, Oh, over
Francis and Overeem. Yeah.
Nagano KO's Overeem, obviously KO. Then I had Barboza
Yeah,
over Terrier Adam, and then I had Buckley's Superman kick, whatever you want to call it, over Impa, and then I had Brendan Schaub over Krokop, and then Meatball Molly over Luana Carolina. So, and we'll put it out on Twitter,
On
Instagram, Spinning Backfist, and we can do a little like who had the best draft on the
you want to
poll.
list a few? I guess just for the people.
Yeah,
So we could say it was in honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Why was it in there?
I almost put Bisping over Rockhold.
So that was on my list. I had Derek Lewis KOing Volkov on my list.
I had Sarah
the last
on GSP.
minute.
I felt like I didn't
Sarah
want to go.
GSP is a great one.
I didn't want to go
really
too many. Like I felt like I did that with Weidman over Silva.
Mm.
You know, kind of like a crazy. Oh my god, I can't believe this person got beat.
Yeah,
But I love knockouts like that. Those are my favorite.
For
anyway,
sure.
So
I took Yuri over Dominic Reyes.
Yep.
The back elbow.
Congo against Pat Barry
Great one
was
for sure.
Yeah.
It was on my list.
We
I took
talked about that.
if I didn't take it in the last one, I probably would have taken it in this one. The Matt Brown Hellbow I had over Diego Sanchez
Great
was
one,
in
yeah.
there. This one's sneaky. I almost took it. I almost took this one over the Silva one. I almost took Francis over Stipe.
I was
Yeah.
just
Just
about to
because it was
mention
such
that.
like a
Brutal.
pass, just like such dominance, such a passing of the guard.
Yep.
And just seeing how much levels Francis had advanced from the first fight to the second fight.
I was almost surprised you didn't take O'Malley over Eddie Wineland.
I thought about it.
Yeah,
I just thought there was some better. Like I just thought it was.
that one was beautiful.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I think the walk up, like that's why I think Leon's is so great too. I think him not doing the follow up shot made it like better.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think like I love that Sugar almost tries to do that where he like wants to knock you out. Like he was getting criticized in the Almeida fight because he kept doing it.
Yeah,
And then he was like, all right, you want me to blast him on the ground? I'll do it. And then
Yeah.
just murdered him.
yeah.
I was just gonna say what he said, Silva Belfort. I was literally choosing
I
between
had that on my list.
that
too.
one and the Chandler over Ferguson one. I didn't think I could take two front kick KOs. I felt like I had to choose
Gonzaga
one.
Krokop is a great head
For
kick.
sure.
I was very tempted to take Usman Masvidal. I think that was just what
Oh, yeah.
Usman
I mean,
did
that
to
was
Mas-
Mas.
on my list
knockout
as
of the
well.
year last year.
Yeah, and Masvidal never knocked out, and he got flatlined. His body went limp when it was just, and Usman, it was.
The
So
way
that
he,
was one that was
folded
definitely-
over, twisted, like bounced off Usman's body. Even like it was crazy.
First time he ever been knocked out.
Yeah,
Another Sanhagen Edgar. That was a great one. That was vicious.
Kimbo Dada 5000.
Sanhagen's knockout, or not Sanhagen, sorry. Garbrandt's buzzer beater.
Sanso.
yeah.
Unreal.
I'm just looking at some other.
Christian Lee just murdered someone on the one card.
Hell yeah.
Unreal.
What was the one I was just
I
gonna
wish
say?
we
Another,
had it up
oh,
as we were going.
honestly, even though I'll say probably the ranked like 4 or 5 in the power rankings of the front kicks, but Vera's over Edgar was really, really nice as well.
I mean, we talked about this recently on a show a couple weeks ago, but Edgar has been knocked out a couple times where like you could take all of the knockouts and put them on this list.
That's it. The Sanhagen ones,
The Ortega uppercut that knocked him off his
Oh,
feet,
God.
lifted him off the ground, sent him into orbit.
I still think the Sanhagen one's worse. I mean, he literally turned him to a statue.
Yeah.
He was so stiff. His body, I mean, he literally just fell like this and just fell on his head. Also, the
MVP breaking Santos' skull.
No,
is a good
Logan
one.
Wolf reminded me of it. Fucking what's his name doing it to MVP?
Oh, Douglas Lima.
Fucking Douglas Lima knocking on MVP was
when he was
insane.
on his knees and like
and just like and then caught him with the second one and just like
speaking of
murdered him.
a shot like that where the second one murdered him, Yoel and Luke Rockhold.
Oh yeah, Ooh.
MVP
Second shot
Oh,
against
yeah.
the cage. Oh my god.
MVP's
Bouncer over Dylan.
Yeah.
Dennis.
bouncer over
That's in the submission. one.
Submission, yeah.
He put him in the
yeah.
choke.
MVP it's like flying knee on Santos at like a
Yeah.
while ago in
And then he threw
Bellator.
a Pokeball at him.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He did throw a Pokeball.
I forgot about
That was
that.
crazy.
He literally put on the little like hat or whatever
Yeah,
it was.
yeah, he did like the little thing, and everyone's like, "Bro, you caved his skull in. Like, chill."
Literally like dented his head.
Yeah.
So
That is one of the craziest X-rays I've ever seen. It's like a ball in his skull. Like,
2 in 2019 that were really impressive to me. Jorge's on Till was
Yeah.
because
Yeah, phenomenal.
he got hurt early in the fight, and then was
he
that
almost got finished for real? Yeah.
was that Pettis against Wonder Boy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had that on my list as well.
We
That
talked
was
to
the Superman-
Pettis about that.
So off the cage.
Off the cage.
just phenomenal. We could do like literally like a 30-round draft of all of them. But yeah, those
There's
are
so many good knockouts.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Goddamn.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to the Spinnin Backfist MMA Show. We'll be back on Tuesday with a Bellator edition of the show. A bunch of special guests.
Should be really excited.
We're going to have
Some big time cards next week.
maybe some like fights in the office.
You never know.
We're gonna try to get in the fight.
Yeah. You never know. All right.
God bless. Appreciate you guys watching, listening, tuning in. We love you.